I'm on a journey to get better, and I want to do it with you. And I'm not just focusing on physical health. I'm focusing on everything: emotional wellness, spirituality, finances, relationships, and so much more. Every week, it will be my personal goal to bring us, the world's leading healers, experts, and game changers, to share groundbreaking secrets and tips to getting better in all areas of life. Getting better isn't easy, but it's a whole lot easier when we can do it together. Welcome to Better Together with me, Maria Menounos. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Better Together. Happy Monday. We're doing something different today with the show. So if you haven't become a Patreon member, we are going to hopefully entice you to become one, because this is the episode that aired for our Patreon subscribers, and we decided to share it with you for a number of reasons. One, it was something that came together instinctively to help people with what my mom has, glioblastoma, based on the success that we've been having treating her. And I got our amazing friend, Jennifer Miele, who is the co-founder and director of Baja MedGate in Mexico, the facility that we have been working with for my mom's health, in conjunction with her doctors at Cedars-Sinai. And so we decided to let you in on our secret little Patreon community and what we're doing over there. Hopefully you'll migrate over to Patreon. We want to make this show completely ad-free, and we want to have more connection with you, and that's what Patreon does. So if you guys would be so kind as to click on the link in the summary and join our Patreon community, we would love that. I also always ask, if you love the show, if any of these episodes are helping you, share it with friends who you think would benefit as well. And so, yeah, we chatted a little bit at the top, so we're going to kind of just roll into it and let you see what our Patreon episode is like. And P.S., I was really tired. Love you. Hey guys, welcome back to Better Together with me, the Patreon edition. I'm exhausted, and I'm just going to share that because my energy is definitely not where it normally is. Our quote of the day: feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. Ooh, William Arthur Ward. Yeah. Feeling gratitude and not expressing is like wrapping a present and not giving it. But the problem is if you didn't give it, do you even give a shit that you wrapped it? Right? I think my brother has 1 million presents right now, right? I mean, I would hope he has the gratitude in there to know that he's not given the presents. But does he really give a shit?
You're saying, like, does the present even exist?
I'm kind of confused by that quote, too. I'm, like, thinking about it.
No, stand by. Feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. So my point is, if you went to all that trouble to wrap the present and you didn't give it, did you even give a shit wrapping the present in the first place? Because if you did all that work, right?
Yeah.
See, I don't think the quote is that good, actually. Because if I did a lot of work, let's think about this for a second. My brain's actually activating.
Okay. I'm glad I did this on purpose.
Yes,
it's a riddle
my brain
for you.
just activated. You should have seen me in guitar a little while ago. I was like, huh?
I was about to ask about that.
Where is the D? Where is the D? I don't...
Where is the D?
Am I supposed to hold strings down? Huh? Anyway, he was a second away from calling like 911, I feel like.
Oh, no.
No, not for real. But like, I was like such a zombie and my brain was not working at all. He could have said like, can you hold the guitar? And I'd be like, what's that?
Oh, you have had a crazy week.
I've had a crazy long time. Yeah. I've had a crazy long time.
That was the best way to put it.
It's true. It's true. Yep. It's been months of like trying to keep my mom alive. And luckily we got amazing news, which I'm going to share. But and I think maybe now I can just let up a second and now my body's just like dying. But let's get back to this quote.
Okay.
So feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. Though that sounds really fancy. And it makes sense if gratitude took work then it would make sense. But does gratitude really take work, right? So if you give me a gift, I'm like, oh, that's so nice. But then I go inside myself and I go, oh, that's so nice, but I'm not going to say it.
Maybe
Does that take work?
Maybe it's because of the effort and not the return, right? So like if you wrap a present, you're putting effort in, but then you give it, you're not getting the return of that person accepting your effort and being thankful for it, right? So if you are giving gratitude but not expressing it, you're not getting the return of that person even knowing that you're grateful for them.
No, that's not even that. That's even worse than that.
This is what I think, and this happens to you sometimes. And I was just talking to Mackenzie about this. When you're like naturally, we've been blessed to be naturally grateful people. So we can't imagine a life where we're like, someone gives us a gift and we don't think, thank you so much, even if it's nothing at all. We're thankful. I think a lot of people, their brain's not hardwired to that. Maybe they didn't have people in their life who were doing that before, or whatever it may be. So gratitude isn't, it's different than saying thanks. Gratitude is the next level where you feel it like deeply and you acknowledge that emotion.
Okay. That's closer. And I think also maybe this is less about saying this person did all this work. It's like basically saying you're an asshole. Right?
Kind of, yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's an analogy that's not really like talking about the work. Because at first I was like, well, if you did all that work, why wouldn't you want to express, right? But it's not that. It's like, it's almost like this is what it's almost like.
Yes.
But that still implies that gratitude takes so much work when it doesn't. It should be a natural instinct when someone gives you something or does something for you where you're like, oh, thank you.
Right? You would think.
Anyway,
you would think.
Very interesting.
You would think. We're in LA, so I don't know if that necessarily is taught.
Well, here we go, guys. It's 2020. Stephen is finally back with us. He decided to take a leave of absence so he can get skinny.
Yeah.
So Stephen has lost 14 pounds. What was it?
Yeah, 13 pounds since the first.
Yeah, I could tell. I saw you instantly and I noticed.
Well, thank you.
But I didn't know it was that dramatic. That's a lot of weight.
So I've been cutting out ordering out food. Mm-hmm. So I went to Trader Joe's and what I bought was mostly just like straight up that cooked chicken and then these like Greek salads. So I've been mostly just eating Greek salads and cooked chicken with different like a salsa verde or a red salsa or just usually like vegetable laden sauces that aren't like sugar heavy. And instead of eating out every day, I've been just eating that. So
that's saving you money and weight.
Exactly. So like, I also cut out bread, which has been a big part. I used to eat like, I used to go to Subway at like 2 a.m. and eat an entire foot-long sub.
Oh my God.
Like probably nightly.
Yeah, it's
you know,
not
like
good.
Jared, except not the other bad stuff Jared
So
did.
can I give you another tip since you're here now and you're doing it and now you're motivated and you're going to crush?
Yeah.
Okay, come over to my house, pick some lemons.
Ooh. Oh, lemon water.
Well, not just that. On your salads, instead of those dressings, put a little olive oil and squeeze some lemon, throw a little oregano on top. So good.
I got to get some oregano for the studio.
I have fresh oregano in my garden you can take too.
You do?
I'm going
Yes.
to take it all.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's so yummy too.
It
You just
is.
wash it, chop it up into your, like just pick it into your salad.
So good for you.
You'll die.
I just never thought it would be this easy to like actually, because I'm not somebody who likes to cook. Like I used to love to cook and then I just dropped off and stopped it. But like I have been always kind of hesitant to go to the grocery store because every time I go to the grocery store, I leave with a bunch of stuff I don't need. And I always have like, I always
Weapons
spend like
of mass destruction.
$150 on food. And I'm just like, what? I'm not even going to eat half of this is sauce. And with Trader Joe's, luckily, I've been like, okay, I don't need to prepare this food. It's already made salads. They expire in 2 days. So I just have to go every 3 days or something.
Yeah.
But like, it's $3.50 for a salad. And then like that chicken will last me 2 days. It's $4 for a big thing of chicken for 2 days worth of food. So like 2 days of food is $10.
Yep.
So if I can just do that, it's just so much better.
So now if you just go back to the AJ Gupta episode with the Vanguard account and start investing that savings into an account, you will start making money. So you'll be a skinny, rich Stephen Lemieux.
I mean, I will tell you
episode.
I have been living up to my word of personal this year. I figured I'm turning 30 this year, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to finally be an adult. So I have a spreadsheet now with a budget of like what are my monthly expenses and what are the expenses that I've been spending on things that I don't need to have. What do I make each month? What's the deficit between that and how much can I take away from my paycheck each month? And I'm also creating like a black book that you had me create, which is like for passwords, all my emails, all my medical information, social security information. That way, if anyone hacks my Gmail, they can own me. I'm just kidding. But no, literally, like it's been refreshing because like now when I go to the DMV or now when I like call the IRS or something, I'm not searching everywhere for everything, and then I don't have to keep like 3 passwords in the back of my mind and know like which one has this capital letter here and which one has this exclamation point here. So it's like I need this year to be me lightening the load on my mental load.
Yes.
Because I need to be able to focus on things that matter and not have programs running in the background.
Yes. Stephen, I'm so proud of you. Can I give you another tip?
Sure.
The emails, you can save them in your passwords on your iPhone and it will automatically go in, right?
Yeah, for like email logins.
Yeah.
I have a keychain, yeah.
Yeah.
But the keychain's not infallible, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know sometimes. But it's good to just know that if you didn't know that. So here's my question. Why do you think, because it's always so hard to start, that's the hardest part of a new regime. What worked for you and why do you think you were able to do it this time?
Well, I have a investment account that's an IRA, and you have to take a certain amount each year, and I did not do that last year. And
what do you mean? You have to take a certain amount?
You have a minimum withdrawal amount each year.
What do you mean? Is that like an inheritance?
It's an inheritance IRA account.
Oh, got it.
And because I didn't do it by the 31st, I might owe the IRS like $1,500 right now.
What? And that was because you were disorganized.
It's because I was disorganized. I didn't have all the information in one place, and anytime I wanted to pull money out, it was a complete nightmare because of it.
Wow.
So it's kind of been interesting on that end. And then for the weight loss, I was just kind of like, I've done this diet before, but that was when I was in my best shape of my life. Like I could bring up a picture, but like I was ripped. And I was like, well, that's when I felt the best about myself is when I look good, I feel good. And I thought, I could do that again. So let me just finish this year out eating terribly and just enjoy it while I can. And then on the first, no more. I want to turn 30 in the best shape of my life. I want to
When's your birthday?
June 8th.
Oh, that's perfect time.
It's the same birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were, yeah.
No, we're the same.
So I want to match your 6-pack on our joint
Hey,
birthday.
we can have a
That's what we
6-pack
need to do.
contest.
Good luck.
You got the Peloton, so you're kind of like ahead of me, but I'm focused on the diet.
I'm so proud of you because I can see you have such a confidence and an energy about you. It's so different. Like I even felt it when you came in and I was in a really sunken place. I could feel your energy so loudly, like it was crazy. And then I looked up and I was like, oh, that's interesting. He looks really thin. And then I said it and you told me.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can get down to. I'm shooting for 160 by June 8th.
Of course you will.
Yeah.
Listen, but this is the thing. It's just choices, right? You had to make a choice to say, I'm going to do what seems like it's harder. Go to the supermarket, get some food rather than order out. And I'm going to see how that works. And you see the results. It's just choices. That's why I always say, be a nice person, make good choices, because life is all choices, right? Like right now, I can run myself into the ground like I feel like I'm going. Or I can say, I matter more. I'm going to move everything next week and I'm going to go away and recharge because I'm tired. And I'm on the brink of tears tired.
I mean, you and Kevin didn't stop at all during the break.
We haven't stopped at all. And even when we do have a little bit of time, say Christmas Day, okay, that was a day off technically. Even though the entire time I was communicating with, for New Year's Eve and stuff like that, fine. So my phone is still going. My mom, we still have to deal with my mom and take care of her. So it's been, what people don't understand is the emotional component and the emotional draining that goes on when you have someone in your home that's sick. And what was happening in the last month or so is I thought she might have been getting worse. And I was really starting to panic. And she was saying things like, I want to go home and see my mom and my baby, both passed on. And, she couldn't walk. I hired a caregiver. And I was looking at Kevin like, oh gosh, like we could be at the end. Like we hadn't had an MRI since November, purposely because the doctor wanted to see, he wanted the medication to have a chance to work, but also sometimes the medication causes inflammation in the brain and whatever. So I was terrified, and that terror exhausts you. Watching your mom be not your mom anymore exhausts you. Seeing that she can't walk and her legs are getting tangled and whatever. But what was interesting is now we found out this week, we went to get her MRI. We found out that her tumor has shrunk significantly, which if you haven't seen my posts on Instagram, I talk about it there. Significant shrinkage. It's like the doctors were so giddy / potentially shocked, I think, like the rest of us. But I remember like the days leading up to her MRI, I just kept asking for a radical remission. I said, I know it's possible. I know it's possible. I'm like, and then I said to God, I was like, okay, maybe it can't like be gone overnight, but can we please see something significant? And it was only the next day when I woke up in the morning that it hit me. And it was like, oh my God, this is exactly what I asked for. I asked for something significant and we got it. Guys, it is crazy. Like we're going to see Esther Hicks tomorrow, right?
Yes.
And ask and it is given. That's everything that we've been learning. And I was a little concerned because of where she was physically. But I'll tell you this. I think without telling me, she had given up, thought she was dying. Her body was recoiling. And now she's walking straight. I don't know if you saw my Insta stories last night.
Yes.
She's standing up straight.
Good.
She's walking on her own.
Smiling.
Guys, it's a whole new mom. Now, she still has a major tumor in there. And it's, we call it the 405. Dr. Rudnick says it's on the 405. So the 405 is where her motor fibers are. So, she's still going to have some difficulty, but it's a different thing. So,
I think it's just so empowering for her to get that news too, because like, I think in her situation, you have everyone around you treating you like you're getting worse, and you feel like you're getting worse, and getting that news is like a second wind.
Yeah.
It's just so nice to start this year with a win.
Oh my God, we were all, no, I was starting to cry, but then my tech guy was at the house fixing our heat because our Nest was out, and my mom was cold for days. And so he's texting me and I'm having to return to him because I couldn't let him leave. As the doctor told us, good news. He came in like smiling and I didn't expect him to come in that moment. He came in so quick and he's like, I have good news. And I'm like, I got to send this verification code for the Nest email here. And like Kevin's bawling. So like, I just kind of was in shock and my dad's crying and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, everything we did worked. And we did so much. When I started writing that post, I realized how much we've done.
Yes.
And we made a really bold decision not to do radiation. And I'm so grateful that we listened to our instinct and our gut as a family and decided not to do it because, look, she did well and really, really well. Now, if we keep going at this rate and it shrinks like the way it is now, by spring, she'll be able to go home and be in Connecticut with family and like enjoy herself, with other people. And then she'll come back because I'm never leaving her back there for too long anyway. Yeah. But it was a real huge, huge win for us.
It was cool to see everything that you've done.
Yeah.
For her. Like, I've been a part of a lot of the process just with Jane and starving cancer and the cocktail approach and Dr. Jewett and all of these things that are so new but going to be game changers. And it's kind of like you're building your own like way to
protocol,
like a little health Bible.
Yeah. So do you guys remember Care Oncology? We talked about this. So Care Oncology apparently is going to be a part of Cedars now. Like they're working on putting it together, and Care Oncology is using the same kind of prototype that Jane was using with the statin and the metformin or whatever. They use a version of that. And we have a doctor who's going to become an expert on our show that's going to help us. Remember I told you, have you been communicating with him? Sean?
Yes, from Care Oncology.
No, he's not from Care Oncology. He's a neurosurgeon, and so he's going to kind of help us vet things to make sure that we present all sides of everything, right? Because Jane McClellan is amazing. She figured out a way for her, but that was good for her. And it worked for her. Now, if you listen to the Joe Dispenza episode that we have, he talks about the placebo effect. She might have believed so wholeheartedly in what she was doing that it worked in her system. And it might not be right for anybody else, right?
Yeah, and there's only one way to know.
It's like she might have inadvertently Bruce Liptoned herself.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I love the idea. He offered his assistance. I love the idea of having him kind of to bounce things off of. But in the meantime, I put everything that we did with my mom on Instagram. And at some point, actually, Steph, I took pictures of all the vitamins. I'll give you the vitamins we can post so that people can see. But we also have Jennifer Miele, who started Baja MedGate. That's the Mexico facility that I've sent my mom to now twice. And we've had really great success. You never know what worked, right? If you talk to the doctors, they're going to be like, Keytruda is a miracle drug. Okay, great. And it is, I'm sure. But we also are having insanely successful results. And I can't think that it's just because of the medications that we've had. I think it's a combination. Mm-hmm. I think without them, we would have had problems, but without the other stuff, we would have had problems. So it's a full 360 approach. I think that's important. So I wanted to get Jennifer on the line so that she could help explain what we did this last round when my mom's tumor recurred, and give people a little insight to some of these alternative treatments that would be helpful, because I know a lot of glioblastoma patients are reaching out to me, seeing my mom's success, and they're saying, what did she do in Mexico? And I'm like, I don't remember at this point, because we were in full, panic mode, and I had already worked with Jenny before and Baja MedGate, and I knew that we had the best protocol together with her. And we talked about it. I was like, okay, yes to this, yes to that, yes to that. But I didn't even have the papers like I had the first time where it was like, here's the protocol written out. So I can remember most of it off the top of my head, but not all of it. And when you have glioblastoma, you need to know all of it. So Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, if you don't know, Jennifer Miele, she is the co-founder and director of Baja MedGate in Mexico. And when my mom was first diagnosed, a few months into her tumor journey, the doctors thought her tumor was growing. And I just didn't really feel right about that in my stomach. So I snuck her off to Jenny. We had pre-interviewed and gone to see her right when my mom got diagnosed, because we knew we might need her facility at some point. So good producer plans for the worst. And when the worst was happening, we took my mom to Mexico. This was April 2017. She had been diagnosed late August 2016. Took her to Mexico, and she did a 2-week program there. And we basically stuck to more of a detox mentality, because my thought was what we were seeing could be chemo buildup rather than tumor growth, because the symptoms very much mirror each other. And so we were successful, because soon after that, her MRIs started getting smaller. The tumor started getting smaller and smaller. That was also the time we put her on marijuana. And now, when my mom got diagnosed again, my first feeling that came to my head was get her to Mexico right away, because there was going to be a lag between her diagnosis and waiting for medications to be approved. So we snuck her off to Mexico again, and not snuck, but we got her off to Mexico, and Jenny worked diligently with her team there to give my mom a very intensive round of treatments. So Jenny, will you explain what you guys, let's start with what you guys do there, and then we'll get into the specifics of my mom.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are Our clinic is more, as you know, Maria, it's more of an individualized, smaller clinic. We don't do a lot of advertising. It's mainly word of mouth, physicians that trust us and patients and others as yourselves, right? And our perspective is a bit different because the way we treat or work with patients is as a team. It's an integrative approach. It's not just one of us. Not one of us has all the answers. So we work also, we have partnerships with, and we work as partner clinics with clinics in Germany, as well as Canada, United States, different parts of the country here, and also throughout Europe and North America. Even if the physicians are not actually on site here physically, they are still reviewing the cases with us, and we work together as more of a research integrative perspective. So what I mean by that is we are a fully licensed clinic. We're located down just over the border from San Diego in Baja California. We sit out looking over the ocean, and our goal here is that we wanted more of a home, relaxed environment, but we are fully licensed in the research area as well as a clinic. So we do things such as integrated immunology. We do targeted immunology, therapy, cytokine treatments. We work with stem cells. We work with immunotherapy. We work with photodynamic therapy. We do a lot of intravenous therapies, diet, nutrition, neurology. It's a very integrated program. So we have an oncologist that works with us. We have a physician who has three PhDs in herbology and natural medicine, and he's also happens to be an MD. We also have another one who specializes in genetics and immunology, as well as an MD and PhD. I can keep going on, right? So it's here what we do is we look at the individual patient, and then we design the treatment program specific to what their needs are as a team. And we are honored and lucky enough to be working with some amazing both physicians and researchers alike. And my position here is co-founder of the clinic, because I went through my own personal issues, as you know, Maria, and health issues, which devoted or encouraged, inspired to move in this direction.
Yeah, explain that a little bit so people know, because there was a whole thing with your mom that led you here.
Yes, my mother was very ill for many years, and it was a search to try to find the right answers and treatments for her. And during the time that she was ill, I was working full-time in a clinic, as well as doing more research and study in nutrition and medical research. And interestingly enough, because of the stress, as we all know, the caretaker of the patient can sometimes get sick as well. I also got ill. And I, as well as going through Lyme disease and autoimmune, I also ended up at 20 years old having a supposed diagnosis of breast cancer. So it made me look at things differently, not just as a caretaker, but also as a patient. And as my mother got better and went on her own journey, I wanted to continue something out of country that would give us the ability to offer the type of treatments that I was looking for myself and for family members to other people that were looking for the same thing. And I had an amazing team that we were working with to do that. And that's how our clinic got opened and started, was my partner and I decided we wanted something that would be different, something where a team of physicians and researchers could come together and individualize with that patient, where we could work with amazing group of physicians and a doctor in Germany as well as United States and different parts of the world to integrate these protocols together. Most of the clinics I worked through the years are wonderful places, but they don't integrate as much, or they're not able to, either because of their location or what they're doing. The benefit of having not just one physician in our clinic, having anywhere from 1, 2 to 5 or 10 different specialties, is we can do that as a round table perspective. Each one of us will have a different view. We are not against traditional medication. We're not against alternatives. We are more integrative. We think the two that can be combined to offer the best result in a patient's case.
And that's what I think is so amazing about you guys and what you do there. And you've seen so much success with patients, because I know we've been there. My dad has been there even longer, and they get to talk to patients who were given basically their last days by the doctors. They were told, go home, there's nothing more we can do for you. And then they come to you and they have a revival.
Well, it's rewarding. it's an amazing field to be in, because the protocols, something that's important too, is the things and protocols we were doing even when you met us, Marie, originally a few years ago to what we do now is very different and yet the same. It's always changing, and that's one thing that we try to make sure we stay up on. We are always, because we are more of a research facility as well, there are always things that change and improve and adjust for the benefit of the actual patient. So that is always our goal. We always want to make sure that we offer the best treatment that we possibly can, and we're clear about that it will be changing as we go.
Yeah. So now, for the people who specifically are dealing with what my mom is dealing with, tell me a little bit about what we did with my mom this last go in September.
Well, it was nice because we had an integration, right? We had the physicians and the oncologist she was working with at home there. And our goal was to integrate with what she was receiving there, not work against, but integrate and support. So our focus here was to focus on immunotherapy with natural killer dendritic cells, with the type of diagnosis that your mom was dealing with. We would integrate natural killer dendritic cell therapy to increase the natural killer cell activity, and so it would carry through the blood-brain barrier. We were using different intravenous substances so that would be the case. We also integrated and enhanced the protocol by using the photodynamic laser therapy protocol that we are working as partners as well with Dr. Weber out of Germany. So we use infrared low-level lasers along the transcranial points and closest to the tumor that we could get through topical application, and just almost like acupuncture per se, so that it would penetrate through, and a nano-indocyanin green, which we have been researching. So as we integrate these photodynamic therapy protocols, and it sounds kind of like Star Trek medicine, right? But it works. It's amazing. You know, we see all these amazing results, and what it does is it's not that one treatment alone does it. It's the integration. That's the key, and the right integration of treatments for that patient. So as we move forward, it's with your mother, we did the immunotherapy, targeted immunotherapy from her own body to increase her own immune system's response, so that not the chemotherapy, but the monoclonal antibodies and things that she was using as well could be, or we would be supporting and making more effective. The photodynamic therapy, same thing. The photosensitizer, the nano-ICG that we use both intravenously and as small injections to the area. We also did other intravenous therapies that we have seen work to cross the blood-brain barrier, work systemically for helping fighting any cancer. We also always look at detoxification as well as build-up at the same time, because there's usually a multifaceted issue going on with these type of things. It's not just one area.
Yeah, so what were the IVs, just specifically, what were those other IVs, and then what did you do for detoxification?
The IVs would be different. It would depend on if we used hypericin. Sometimes we would use curcumin, artesunate, high-dose vitamin C, NAD, DMSO. There were quite a few different intravenous. We would also use specific amino acids that would help with liver function and detoxification. We would do a type of natural chelation through intravenous, but instead of using the normal chelators, we'd use different enzymatic therapies available to us here that would help detoxify everywhere from heavy metals to any toxins in the system. We'd use a substance that was cocarboxylase A, which also has been shown to help in these areas, and then a very specific oral protocol using oxalacetate, which is an amazing substance for specific types of brain tumors. So that was also integrated with specific dosaging, specific sequencing of treatment. So we would do intravenous therapies, the topical applications as well as intravenous, as well as the photodynamic therapy, the immunotherapy of natural killer dendritic cells, the oral supplementation, as well as very specific dietary as well. And every patient is slightly different, as you know. So sometimes we would need to adjust according to symptomology, and we would be checking her every day. We'd be watching neurological response, energy, how her vision was doing, how she was feeling that day, because all of those things are important to watch clinically, not just look at an image report or blood work. We have to integrate together. Look at the whole picture. It's a whole patient approach. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the biggest key is, for us, when initially they wanted her to do Keytruda and radiation because that's what works in tumor recurrence. I woke up and I was praying like, God, please tell me what to do. Please tell me what to do. And then one day I woke up and I just kept hearing no radiation, no radiation. And I remember being like, what? No radiation? And I know it sounds weird, like, but that's exactly what was coming into my head was no radiation, no radiation. So I spoke to Kevin. Kevin was like, I feel the same way. Then I talked to my dad. My dad was like, you know, I didn't want to say it because I didn't want you to think I didn't want to try everything, but I think no radiation too. And so we made the decision to have no radiation. And I remember saying, guys, we're going to have balls here and we're going to make decisions that are going to be scary, but patience and faith will be our guiding forces. And we're so, so grateful now that we didn't do it because I looked at her and I said, I don't think she can handle it. And I remember how much it took out of her the first time. And so I didn't want to do that to her again. It was not worth it for me to see her in that state again. And I just felt like there's got to be another way. And so, you know, sending her to see you and get those treatments and then partnering them with the Keytruda. The Keytruda, the first time, as you know, she had either it was an immediate adverse reaction to the Keytruda or her tumor just happened to react and she went paralyzed. You remember in Mexico with you guys.
I do. Yes, I remember that.
And so the next time we did infusions, the next time we did the infusions, we added Avastin because we said, you know what? Dr. Rudnick was like, I think this is going to help support her body, give her like an almost steroidal effect. And the next time we did it, it was great. And since then, that has worked. So, you know, you have to look at the person because sometimes it's so easy for people to say, okay, this works. And their goal is to get you better. But sometimes you have to look at the person, your own family member, yourself, and say, is this the best for them specifically? And so here we are with, you know, a really, really incredible result with her tumor. You saw the shrinkage, right?
Oh, yes. We're so excited. It's wonderful.
So, and then supplementation, that's the other thing we did. And so she has been on the supplements that you guys put together as a program from the first time. And then this second go, it's probably a little different. And we're still waiting for the next shipment, by the way. So I've been supplementing her with the other stuff, with as much of it as I could get. And then I threw in all these other brain ones, by the way. And I've seen a huge difference in her brain. So she is clearer than ever. And I'll tell you some of the new ones I added, Jenny. I added Dr. Amen's omega-3. I added Dr. Black's.
Okay, good.
Dr. Black has a pill called Cogevity. Or Cogevity, I can't remember the name of it, but it has like, you know, the turmerics and all those things that are good for the brain. I added, Dr. Raj Kanodia came up with this AMLA antioxidant. AMLA is the highest, richest form of antioxidant. I added that in there. I added another turmeric because I figured she couldn't get enough turmeric. And let's see. And then Tom Brady's mind performance pill. I was like, all right, we're throwing all of this in there. And I've seen a difference in the clarity of her brain.
That's excellent. You know, supplements are great. Diet is important. You say that. And even when she had all the side effects at the beginning of the Keytruda and Avastin, that was something that you mentioned that's really important. Our goal is not to take that away. Our goal is to support those side effects and try to reduce them as much as possible by giving her system some detoxification and support.
Yeah,
so we wouldn't hurt the effects of the medication, but we would help enhance them. And that's what's so interesting about many of the treatments we do. They actually can be complementary, and they are. They just need to be done together and appropriately. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, the other thing I put her on, so I've been helping so many people with what my mom has with glioblastoma or even benign brain tumors over the last 2 years or so. One of the patients I've been helping, his wife said when my mom was getting on Avastin, give her grapeseed extract. And give her this kidney supplement because to counter the effects of the Avastin. And I immediately put her on those as well. So those are two other ones that I have her on.
That's excellent. Yeah, we can go through a whole new list of everything you have her on now. And again, we have to keep adjusting as it goes. So, and we may need to change it. So if you can keep, let's send us a list of everything you have her on now, and then we can continue to adjust and add.
Yeah.
So
I wonder,
it's always important.
Can you give some of the top vitamin supplements that we have her on? I know we have her on Benagine.
Benagine, which is the oxalacetate, it's an amazing supplement that has been shown to work actually in integration as well with different types of glioblastomas, brain tumors. The other one is curcumin. I will pull up her list here in a moment, but the other one is curcumin as well. That's an incredibly important one, which you're keeping her on. And curcumin, that would be either in liposomal form or, they say the absorption is much improved when it's either liposomal or also in integration with something of the nature of black pepper, because it helps the absorption and uptake. The other one is vitamin D. The other one is an oxygen magnesium supplement, and proteolytic enzymes are very important. Proteolytic enzymes are an excellent way to reduce inflammation in the body when not taken with food. They will actually, when they're taken with food, they will actually help digest the food per se, right?
Yeah. And
when
we
they're
learn
taken
a
away
probiotic
from
too.
food, an hour to an hour and a half away, they will help more with the inflammatory reaction in the body. We also have her on probiotics and clary sage seed oil with Q10. That's important for inflammation as well as brain function. I know I mentioned the vitamin D, the CBD, incredibly important, high amounts of CBD. And something that's very important as well is the homeopathics. There are specific homeopathics, and there's been studies shown and done in this by a brilliant researcher, PhD and MD, with specific homeopathics in different types of brain tumors and glioblastomas being amazingly effective, even on their own. But again, that is something we added in this last visit here, was adding in the homeopathic supplementation as well. So again, every case is slightly different, but these are just some of the things that we have her on.
Yeah, so
Or
I
that
would
we've
love
suggested.
if you could get Stephanie the list so that we can post it for people, but also a quick explanation of why we did them. But I'll tell you, she hasn't been on the homeopathics in probably 2 months because we haven't gotten the shipment from you guys. And I've also taken her off the CBD because the CBD was making her a little bit more tired. Unfortunately, like I know with me, if I take CBD, it knocks me out. So for the last 2 months, she hasn't been on that either.
And that's not bad because remember, rotation is important. Just as you're taking an antibiotic and you can build resistance to it, it's the same thing with any supplementation or food. Our body gets to a point where we don't want it anymore. So taking breaks and absences, small ones, of course, here and there is also important. But at the same time, the one thing I can say that she has been amazingly good at is staying on a good program, being careful. And that, as you know, Maria, that's so important to any patient, any success of any type of program, is being aware of what your body does well with and what does not do well with, right?
Yeah, and we
I think
starved
the
her of
biggest
the
point
sugar.
also, and at this point, to be able to give a good updated list with, and send new things, it would be good to, in addition to obviously the imaging you sent, is to look at new lab work and do a list of symptomology and what else she is taking so we can give you a more specific things of what we would suggest. We always need to do follow-ups, as you know, so we can give the best outcome, the best support.
Absolutely. And you guys treat people with all different kinds of cancers. So anybody who's listening, it's not just brain cancer. They're treating people with all different cancers. Is there anything else you guys are specializing in outside of cancer?
Oh, yes. We do a lot of work with Lyme, lupus, autoimmune diseases, and we're also doing work with some more of the regenerative medicine and detox side. The reason we can do that is because we do have a team, right? Everyone focused in different areas, but also cancer is an immune dysfunction per se. We always find that if we don't, I myself can tell you this, and many patients, I've had a couple friends for a very, very long time that have been dealing with immune problems, immune issues, immune diseases for about maybe 10 years. And they did not want to do any type of therapy of any kind. They just figured that just diet was enough, which it was sufficient for many years, helped them tremendously. Don't get me wrong, it's very important. drastically important. They didn't really address the underlying cause, and just recently came in with a diagnosis stage 4 cancer. And this was breast, and another was prostate. So, it's really important to try to catch things before they get there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So also working kind of the preventative side is very important. So no, we're not limited to just one type of cancer, because we've dealt with many different types, everywhere from lung cancers to pancreatic to liver to gastrointestinal to breast to prostate to lymphomas. It depends on what we're dealing with. Also, to those patients that have very strange issues that no one really knows what's wrong, and that's part of why we do investigation, because we're always looking to see what is the initial diagnosis, when sometimes it's more than one thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess the other thing I would want people to know about you guys is, it's one of those things where you go down there and you have an apartment on the beach. They come, they pick you up, they take you to the facility. It's a house, so it's very homey. You're with other patients, and so you don't feel alone in all of it. And you're there it can be for any amount of time, but generally you're there all day long doing different treatments. I remember the first time my mom was doing like coffee enemas and massage and, vitamin drips and such, and whatever your treatments are. And then they take you home. So you don't have to worry about driving to a million places to get a million different treatments. That's the thing that's so hard for people is, how do I fit in? A lot of people have to work while they're sick too. How do I fit in going to get acupuncture, going to get a vitamin C infusion? You're driving all over your city. It's all in one place. You can get everything you need in one spot. And with people who are really caring so deeply to see you succeed.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Our staff is amazing. We've worked with them for many years. My partner and I here have worked very hard to create a more homey, welcoming environment, yet incredibly professional, of course. It's important because when you're going through something like this, or any type of health crisis per se, or dis-ease in the body, it's important to feel loved, taken care of, right? We're not just a number in an office. And when I went through this, that was one of the things I had issues with, was finding a good place to stay, finding high-quality food, figuring out how to get from one place to another, because I was in a foreign country where I didn't speak the language at the time. Now I do. I have to.
Yeah.
But it takes that stress off. So yes, we've arranged to have these beautiful oceanfront apartments, full kitchen, bath, a beautiful deck looking over the ocean with a gym and pool and jacuzzi and sauna downstairs for the residents of the building. It's a beautiful center. We have a great driving staff that picks the patients up every day, brings them back and forth to the clinic. We have an amazing patient attendance team in clinic, amazing nurses, and of course our kitchen is, I'm probably biased, but we love our kitchen because we do everything as seasonal as possible, as fresh as possible, organic from local growers. Everything is gluten-free. Many people have a lot of gluten intolerance, so we're very careful on that. And again, it's being as clean and healthy, yet having a comfortable environment as possible.
Yeah,
we still are growing. We're still learning, right? We all are, and that's what we're here to do.
We're better together.
And we learn from each other.
This is true. I remember my dad when he came home this last time. Him and my mom, but he especially, because he was, not as tired to express himself. He just kept saying, Maria, everybody, they were so nice. They come, they give you hugs. They say, we love you. It's amazing, Maria. And they made such good friends with people there that, we're staying in touch with. And, it's really important when you're dealing with a life-threatening illness to have that love, like you said. And we're lucky we have it at Cedars with our doctors there, too. They come in. My mom lit up like a Christmas tree when she saw Dr. Black. And Dr. Rudnick comes in with the big hugs. And so we feel really blessed to have a good team. And I just wanted to be able to share some of what we've done and for people to hear from you, Jenny, because I refer people to you all the time. And just to give them this resource, because I feel like it isn't one thing, right? It's everything together. It's a full court, press to get someone to have a remission or to have success in their health battle. And so you need a lot of different team members and a lot of different, approaches in place. Like if we're looking at sports, we need, multiple coaches, you need assistant staff, you need plays, and sometimes you're going to do a trick play, sometimes you're just going to run it up the middle. It's a whole thing. So I'm just grateful that we found you, and we found you because of this show. One of our guests' wives had gone down to Mexico for breast cancer treatment, had complete success in Mexico. We got to you, and so I'm just grateful.
Well, and I'm very grateful for you guys as well, becoming very dear friends as well, and we're here to help. So that's what we're here for. And if we are not the right place for someone, we try to help them find at least the right place, or at least give them guidance on what can be done.
Thank you.
We know how scary it can be, right? We've all been there.
Yep. All right, guys, what have we learned?
That there's such a great place that exists that takes the whole holistic approach that we've been talking about, not the holistic that I know Steven
Not the
doesn't
negative
like
holistic.
Not the negative holistic. The whole
Listic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just ravishly writing notes, and we'll make sure to put it in the summary of everything that she listed.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really amazing, all the research out there and all the people who, it's kind of sad but good. I guess they found a sanctuary in Mexico that's really great, but it almost seems like we should be able to feel comfortable doing research and breakthrough medicines and therapies for people without feeling that fear. But at least we have this, not too far from us at least.
Well, and you can email Jenny and she'll send you, because some of it is like you wouldn't even catch it. It's like natural killer, dendritic cells, like dendritic cells. There's a lot of like lingo. So she'll send you the protocols, what they do, and make sure she does, and then the supplements and what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like that there's places out there that aren't saying it's one or the other.
Yeah.
Like a lot of places like, no, don't do chemo, don't do this, don't do that. You have to do this.
Yep.
And they're like, no, let's figure out a way to subvert the side effects, but also not get in the way of whatever the medications you're doing is, which I think is really kind of cool.
Totally. East meets West is best. You need it all. In the meantime, I hope this is helpful to you guys because, like I said, they help, lots of different illnesses and conditions and situations. So I urge you, if you're dealing with this or if someone you know is dealing with an illness, just call up Jenny. Go to bajamedgate.com, BAJA, med, M-E-D, gate, G-A-T-E.com, or email them at bajamedgate@gmail.com and just get some information because I know it's been incredibly helpful for me to have that and to know that I'm doing everything, right? Like I said, you don't know what of everything is really working. You just know that, okay, we have incredible results. There's got to be a reason we're having such incredible results. It's because we are doing all of these different things and her body is so supplemented and taken care of and her immune system is as boosted as it can be because of all the vitamin C injections and things we're doing so that she can deal with the negative of some of these prescription drugs. I also want to thank all of our Patreon members for being a part of our community. We want to make this show as ad-free as possible, or not really as possible. We just want it to not be ad dependent. So we want everybody to migrate over to Patreon so that we can build our community in this respect. And so if you're not already a Patreon member, please join. And I say that because obviously we're sharing this episode with everyone to hopefully get them over here so they can see what they've been missing out on all this time with these extra episodes.
There's 2 cool links in the description. One of them is our Patreon link that you can head over there and get all our shows ad-free. And then the other cool one, excuse me, is the link to the Facebook group, where if you click on that, you can join our Facebook group, and there's 3 questions it asks you when you join, but then we let you in, and we have tons of fun little information in there, too.
Oh, my God. Those questionnaires, those quick little questions have just moved me so much. People's responses to the show and how it's helping them, it really just lights me up.
Some of them are amazing, too. Like, you would never know our listenership and, like, how important you guys are to us, but, like, the stories you have about what you've learned on the show and how it's affected your life is insane. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really propels us to, like, keep pushing and keep getting amazing people on board. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And lastly, I ask if you loved this episode or any episode, share it on social media, share it with your friends, bring them into the community, because the information we're presenting here every week is stuff that everybody can benefit from. And so give that gift to your friends and family. And in the meantime,
Maria, I want to ask, like, how, and this is just a really quick question, but like, ballpark, how much would you say you've spent just to learn all this information?
oh
Like,
man, forget it.
It's like they're getting like a purified source of all of the everything that you've just spent so much to learn.
This is true. Yes, I am the guinea pig. I try everything, and then when I see it work, I make sure I share. And this is such a great way for me to share because, everyone now knows just to come to the podcast that I'm bringing everything into here, because normally I'm spending so much time saying, okay, do this, 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 and this. And so this is my shortcut to give everybody everything they need. And take all of the research and homework I've been doing and put it into one place for everybody. So in the meantime, guys, thank you again for joining us. You can follow us at Steph Sabra, at Maria Menounos, at Stephen Lemieux Photo. You can go to bajamedgate.com for more information on Baja MedGate in Mexico for you or your family member. Remember, be nice people, make good choices, and be present.